were no stylists and there were
Yeah.
no specific costume designers for the girls, whether it was Ita or it was Shabana Azmi.
Yeah.
A local tailor from the village, a local tailor was called to the hotel, and the tailor never took measurements of either of the girls. He just kind of raised his eyes and had one glance, and that's it. And he would just make the blouses. So we spent a lot of time traveling together, chatting on the aircraft, then sharing the car, then at the hotel having our breakfast together. And I have
Yeah.
very fond memories.
You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Afrida Rahman Ali. Noted filmmaker Shyam Benegal breathed his last evening in Mumbai, where he was undergoing treatment for chronic kidney disease. His demise has evoked heartfelt tributes from celebrities, politicians, and admirers nationwide, all mourning the loss of a visionary director who played a key role in reshaping Indian cinema. Joining me now is Bhavna Sumaya, a noted film critic who has observed his body of work closely and has written a lot about it as well. Bhavna, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the program. So, of course, we are hearing one of the first things about Shyam Benegal is that he was a pioneer in popularizing parallel cinema. Is that how you best describe his legacy?
That's true. But I think of him as a storyteller who told us stories about the rural India. And it's because of him that we were introduced in the late 70s to the villages of India, and the stories were told so interestingly, and the protagonists were so attractive that we were instantly drawn, and more popular actors look forward to work in his kind of cinema. He came from the advertising world, so he had a different view of how he was going to do his work. And his style of working and making the films was also so democratic because he worked mostly with theater actors or with, at that time, not yet television actors. So he worked with everybody as a crew together. There was no hierarchy of stars, and nobody was given a preferential treatment. When he was shooting Mandi in the 80s, I was part of the unit because I was just covering the shooting, and everybody stayed in the same hotel. Everybody had the same kind of room. Nobody had a special car. Everybody traveled together to the location in a bus. And when the bus was ready, everybody had to be there on time. And two, three times the honk was, played so that those latecomers would come carrying their jackets. And if anybody didn't turn up within the three honks, then the bus would go away. And then the actor had to spend his own money and reach the location.
Hmm.
So that is Sham Babu. He also had an eye for details. When I'm told that he shot Ankur,
Hmm.
his first cut was like a documentary film with a lot of details about the rituals and the traditions of the Andhra Pradesh and all that. And then somebody told him that you are now getting into feature films. And if you
Hmm.
want to make a film, it will have to be more of a different kind of a content rather than just the detailing. And that's
Yeah.
how Ankur came, then Nishant came, and all these Nasiruddin Shahs and Shabana Azmis and Smita Patil and everybody.
Right. Interesting. I mean, I'll come to the bit about advertising and documentaries. Like you said, he started there and the transition he made to parallel cinema. But since you mentioned these big names in Indian cinema today, let's have our viewers know that they started with Shyam Benegal. Many of them who are big names today actually are creations of Shyam Benegal. Would you say that the Shabana Azmis, the Nasiruddin Shahs, they got a platform or probably shaped themselves as actors because of Shyam Benegal and his vision?
Absolutely. It's because he was always looking for good actors. Nasiruddin Shah came from NSD, and
Hmm,
Shabana Azmi was from FTII. And
hmm,
Shabana has given many interviews where she says that when she went to meet Sham Babu, she had these arched eyebrows, bleached face, and her regular cut of her hair. And
hmm,
she was absolutely certain that she was going to be rejected by him because there were stories that for Ankur he had approached Wahida Rahman. He had approached Anju Mehndru, who has a very photogenic face. And I think he had also approached probably um, Madhavi Mukherjee. Not Madhavi Mukherjee, would be too old for it, but another Bengali actress.
Okay.
And he liked Shabana, and he asked her where she was from. And because she was from Hyderabad, he was certain that she would get the dialect right. And Shabana came home and told her parents that she was going to play this role and what the role was about. And her mother said, "Go ahead," because the mother was from the theater. And she believed that you should do any kind of role. But if you look back, she played the other woman. She played an adulteress in Ankur. And mainstream cinema should not be touching her with a barge pole. But
True.
she was popular in mainstream cinema. Manmohan Desai cast her, Prakash Mehra cast her, Basu Chatterjee cast her, Basu Gulzar Saab cast her. So she did all kinds of cinema. It's because I think even those filmmakers were looking for good actors.
Yeah. When you talk about Mandi, you talk about Manthan, you talk about Nishant, when you talk about these movies, and they are each one of them are called iconic, films. How did it shape the trajectory of Indian cinema? If you want to explain to us in your words that how did it influence the thinking of filmmakers who came later, directors who came in later?
I think when Shyam Benegal came from the advertising world, Blaze Films, he probably got into feature films as an adventure. And he was always a very good filmmaker. So I think one thing led to another. But for the small movies, funding has always been a problem. So I think that he was also, in his own clever way, he was involving different kind of corporates in his films. For example, Manthan was about the Amul Milk Corporation. So Korean guy, he approached Sham Babu and he asked him to make a film. And the entire Anando, it's called, I think, the Milk
Yes.
Cooperative Society, everybody, every milkmaid has contributed 1 rupee to the making of this film. And that is why when Manthan was released, all of them made buses and they would go to the theaters to watch the film. And that's why the movie was such a big success also. But I think the regular funders were also getting attracted to Shyam Babu. For example, Bhumika, which told the story of an actress, a Marathi actress, and her biopic. And Smita Patil played the role, and her various relationships and the various heroes used in the film, whether it was Amol Palekar or whether it was Anant Nag. So I think slowly the mainstream cinema was also very aware of Shyam Babu's presence, probably a little threatened by him because he was doing what they imagined and wanted to do, but were caught in the stereotypes and playing with far too big budgets to be taking that kind of risks. So it was, I think, both was required because both was giving competition to each other.
Yeah, and the simplicity of the way the characters are portrayed, somehow that caught the imagination of the global audience as well, because I believe Shyam Benegal was one of the very first few who whose work became known internationally.
Well, not. I think that there were many filmmakers before Shyam Babu. In fact, Satyajit Ray is the one who opened the doors. But I think it was the realistic cinema that touched God. And to do realistic cinema, you cannot do it synthetically or artificially. It has to be real in every department. So, for example, there were no stylists and there were no specific costume designers for the girls, whether it was Ita or it was Shabana Azmi.
Yeah.
A local tailor from the village, a local tailor was called to the hotel, and the tailor never took measurements of either of the girls. He just kind of raised his eyes and had one glance, and that's it. And he would just make the blouses. Okay. And Shyam Babu would say to the cast that I want you to wear your costume, whether you are in the scene or not in the scene, and I want you to walk around the village and feel the village, feel the ambience, and feel the character. So all the girls, whether it was Mandi or it was Nishant or it was Ankur, were always, all the boys also, were in their costume. So when they came in front of the camera, there was no inhibition and they felt the character.
Hmm.
They
So
had
they were made
absorbed.
to live. They were made to live in the skin of the character, whether they were on camera at that moment or not. So that was one of his probably his style of working.
And
But I'm all
even
yeah.
when his films went to the festival, like Berlin
Hmm.
Film Festival, so they didn't have the infrastructure or the logistics to kind of promote it or even the budgets for it. So Sham Babu told Smita and Shabana, take out your Kanjivaram sarees and just go around separately and tell everybody to come for a film. So these two dazzling girls, lovely looking young girls,
Yeah.
wearing their fabulous rustling silks and meeting these Germans and any nationality and telling them that my film is on, come and watch it. Everybody came and they had a house full.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just when even as you're talking about Smita Patil of that era, Shabana Azmi of that era, I'm just sort of imagining them in those roles and how they were brought to life and how they portrayed those characters, so memorable even today. But what you said in the beginning of this interview about the sort of democratic setup that he created, do you find a big difference today? And that is unheard of. It's an alien concept. You do have a hierarchy. It's very well entrenched now. Do you see a stark difference?
Too much difference because those guys who are on the top, they have everything they want at the snap of a finger. They
Hmm.
are all in their vanities. There is a separate vanity for the staff. In the olden days, there were probably makeup rooms or huts if you're shooting in the villages. But in between the shots, everybody just put the chairs and sat there and chatted with everybody. There were no mobile phones. Now,
Hmm.
the minute they get into the vanity van, they're doing their other work, the next film. And also, there are so many brand managers. There is a hairstylist, there is a hair person, there is a makeup stylist, then there is a makeup assistant, costume, then a costume assistant, then your brand manager, then your marketing manager, then your personal secretary. It's impossible to trespass the boundaries and ever chat with them. And the actors are losing touch with reality or a real
Indeed.
world.
Hmm. And as a closing comment, I want you to tell us when we often say it's a big loss to the industry and we've lost the guidance of a pioneer. But why should that be when someone as immortal as Sham Benegal, with the sort of work that he has left behind, that should continue to be a guide, isn't it? I mean, he's called a pillar of Indian parallel cinema, and he's, of course, as we discussed just now, is responsible for creating so many renowned artists. They have emerged from his directorial vision. Even as we mourn his loss today, his physical absence. But don't you think that the pillar cannot be lost, can it? I mean, he remains a pillar in Indian cinema.
I don't mourn his loss. I
Hmm.
think he lived a full life. He made fabulous
Hmm.
films. He not just contributed to the visual medium of cinema, but name any serious committee on cinema, a governing council or whatever. In it over the decades, he was always the chairperson. He was always somebody we were looking up to, whether there was a dialogue happening or whether there was a deliberation happening. He was there, and I think it's a good time to go at 90 when there was no point in dragging it any further and
Hmm.
not having a quality life that would not be dignified for him. And I feel it's time for him to put the spotlight on the deities in the heaven. It's just a change of location. And maybe all the goddesses and the gods are going to act in his movies. And whenever I miss him, I'm going to watch his movies.
So nicely said, Bhavna. Do you have any recollection of your last interaction with him? Anything that you want to share from your personal experience?
Yeah, I think we were on a very major um, council together, and we
Hmm.
needed to meet very, very frequently for deliberations we were working on. I think it was on the amendments and the censor board. And we also needed to travel to Delhi to meet the officials. So that is the time I saw the vulnerable side to him, the child in the man. And we spent a lot of time traveling together, chatting on the aircraft, then sharing the car, then at the hotel having our breakfast together. And I have
Yeah.
very fond memories.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bhavna Sumaya, for sharing your thoughts, for taking us down the memory lane. And this was our way of course, celebrating a legendary filmmaker like Shyam Benegal. Thank you, Bhavna. Thanks for your time. Thank you.